this lecture is on 3G Ising model, elementary idea of 3D Ising model, idea of Heisenberg model, as well as Weyl equation of a state. So ideal gas, we have Ising model where spin has only two orientation possible. Spin can be either up or down, but this kind of spin can be arranged in 3 dimension as well. So in the case of 3 dimension, suppose we have a cube. So this is a cube. Say it is a simple cubic lattice. So we can arrange spins onto the edges of the cube spin. The spin can be either up or down. So we can arrange these spins. Say n number of spins are arranged along say x-axis, n spins along y-axis, and n spins along z-axis. So you can have n cube number of spins for a finite sized 3-dimensional Ising system, where you can work out Hamiltonian of the system using some numerical method, where you can determine Hamiltonian of the system assuming nearest neighbor interaction, where you can have total number of possible spin orientation, that is 2 power. See, each spin has 2 orientation, either up or down, so you have total number of spin, that is n cube. So total number of possibility 2 power n cube. So each of these possible realization you can calculate Hamiltonian of the system. For each Hamiltonian you can write its a free energy, or you can average this Hamiltonian over possible number of realization to get its a free energy. On the basis of free energy you can determine element thermodynamical parameters, the magnetization, magnetic susceptibility, and with the increase of this number of spins, so capital N, you keep on increasing. Say initially you took number of spins, say 8 spin, later time say 16 spin, and so on. You keep on increasing number of spin to see how your magnetization and magnetic susceptibility are varying with the size of the system. So on that basis you can determine transition temperature, and you can also see how the system is basically able to show ordering, say either ferromagnetic like ordering or anti-ferromagnetic like ordering. When J is positive, your spin will align along to have a minimum energy configuration. When J is negative, in that case spin will align anti-parallelly to each other, so that you have minimum energy configuration. So remember, in this case what happens, there is a potential energy because of spin orientation, because of spin interaction J term, and there is a kinetic energy because of temperature. So these two compete with each other, so have a phase transition. So that's so using 3-dimensional Ising model we have variety of numerical methods. So Monte Carlo method is there, where one can solve this model to see phase transition behavior in the 3D Ising model. We have another model, that is Heisenberg model. It is a 3-dimensional model. So in this case what happens, so n is 3, number of component with your system is 3, that you can arrange in either 1 dimension or 2 dimension or 3 dimension. So in this case each spin has 3 components. Say this is n3 case where you have 3 spin components, that is Si is a spin attached to an atom which is forming your sample. So Si has 3 components, say Six, Siy, Siz. So corresponding to this Si of x, it can interact along x-axis with the spin exchange interaction term Jx. Similarly, y-axis along y-axis we have exchange interaction term Zy. Similarly, along z-axis we have Jz term. So Hamiltonian in this case is -1/2 sum of J12 and Jx as J plus 1, that is nearest neighbor. We have sum over nearest neighbor. So this is for x component, similarly y and z component. So this forms your basis of elementary structure of Hamiltonian for Heisenberg model. This model was solved by P.A.M. Dirac for the case when Jx, Jy, Zz is taken altogether equal to Z. So this is x model solved by him. So Hamiltonian for that case is n/2 minus J, J12 capital N, Pj, J plus 1. So this model was also solved by researcher in the area to see magnetic behavior of the system for the case XXH model when two exchange interaction terms are identical but third one different. So Jx, so identical for along x and y axis direction, spin along say x axis as well as spin pair along x axis direction, and y axis direction have same exchange interaction term, but along z axis it has different interaction term. So that this is also being solved to see behavior of the spin system. So Heisenberg model can be solved classically as well as quantum mechanically. So in the case of classical model, we say n component Heisenberg model. In quantum mechanical case, what happens? Your spins follow the quantum mechanical computation laws. So these are the say spins, Pauli spins. We are familiar with Pauli spins, Sx, Sx, Xy, and Z component of the Pauli spins can be written in this fashion. So they follow certain computational laws according to principle of quantum mechanics. So in the case of solving this model, that is Heisenberg model, quantum mechanically, we may be able to get idea of magnetization that has quantum mechanical origin. So when J is positive, in this case too, we have parallel alignment of the spins. When J is negative, we have anti-parallel alignment. So this kind of model solved for classically as well as quantum mechanical. Either case you have Hamiltonian of the system, you can get its Helmholtz free energy. Once you have free energy, you can determine magnetization as well as magnetic stability of the system. So this kind of models solved using density matrix renormalization technique. There is a 6 vertex model solved using Bethe salt, or Hubbard model where half-filled states are treated to solve the model. So these are the complicated, mathematically complicated system to handle the Heisenberg model to understand behavior of the magnetic system quantum mechanically as well as classically. So we can understand solving this Heisenberg model idea of this magnons, it is spin waves. Quantized spin wave is known as magnons. We can see origin of magnetization quantum mechanically. We can see how these spins in alignment lead to have stability. When J is positive, you have parallel alignment. When J is negative, you have anti-parallel alignment to have stable structure of a magnetic system. Now we move to another topic, that is Beer equation of state. So we are familiar with ideal gas equation, that is PV equal to nRT. In this case, kinetic theory of gases tells that this molecule of gas do not have any size. So volume for a molecule, each molecule is taken as 0. And these molecules, at high temperature, these molecules are far apart, so there is no interaction among molecules. This is the behavior of ideal gas, and PV equal to nRT is valid. But in the case of real gas, you have molecules that has non-zero volume as well as molecule interact with each other. Molecule has certain structure as well. That's why it has non-zero volume, and it interact with each other. When it is at low temperature, it moves to low temperature side. The gas, you cool the gas, you can see there is a intermolecular interaction. Also, on the basis of ideal gas behavior, you cannot explain the phenomena of freezing of liquids. Liquid you can't explain on the basis of ideal gas equation. So there is a deviation from ideal gas equation to see behavior of real gas equation, because there is a possibility of liquefaction of gases. So that can be realized on the basis of equation of state, or on the basis of looking at the isotherms of the real gases. So here what we do, we would like to see how this pressure is varying with respect to volume or the real gas. So in the case of ideal gas, you have PV, P that is equal to nRT upon B, or PV equal to nRT. This is the case of ideal gas. So we would like to write same equation in terms of N upon V, density N upon V for real gas, where there is a intermolecular interaction as well as molecules are having finite volume, non-zero volume. So this pressure is expressed in terms of compressibility, isothermal compressibility factor of the real gas, to get equation of state of real gas. So this equation can be written in this position. So P upon RT, that is equal to rho plus B rho of square plus C rho of cube, and so on. So this is an equation. This is a series where this B, C are the coefficients, where rho is n upon V, density, inverse volume, that is density, number of mole. The n is number of moles and V is volume. So number of mole per unit volume, that is density of your gas. So P upon RT is rho plus B into rho of square plus C into rho of cube. So this B, C, these coefficients depends upon the thermodynamic condition of the gas. So because of this B non-zero value, your gas deviates from ideal gas behavior. Your gas has behavior which is different from ideal gas. So this term B includes pairwise interaction among the molecules, and that way you have pressure multiplied with the volume per unit unit mole. This pressure multiplied with volume of the gas per unit mole of the gas. That is nothing but can be written as P average, that is equal to RT plus 1 upon 1 plus B upon B plus C upon plus C upon V bar of square. Sorry, P V bar is equal to RT within small bracket 1 plus B upon V bar plus C upon V bar of square, and so on. So this is nothing but PV bar upon RT equal to 1 plus B upon V bar plus C upon V bar of square, and so on. So when B goes to 0, you are having in a situation where T is known as a temperature. When you vary temperature of your gas, what happens? You can see a situation where this B term turn out to be 0. When you plot this equation, you can see there is a behavior where you can see this B goes to 0. In that situation, what happens? Your repulsive interaction between molecules balances with the attractive interaction. In that situation, what happens? When you apply certain pressure, your gas will undergo into the liquid phase. It will transit to liquid phase. So Tc is a critical temperature. For gases which has boil temperature less than its critical temperature, you can liquefy that gas. If boil temperature is greater to critical temperature, you can't liquefy your gas. So this is what about Wheeler equation of the state.